going on YouTube? Thanks for stopping back for another episode of DIY Amateur Hour. We're back down here in the garage working on the Silverado, and we're working on a project I've been putting off for a little while just because it's kind of boring. We're putting mud flaps on the truck. It's a simple project. It's not labor intensive by any means, but if you want all four corners to look the same and look right, there's a couple simple steps that you should take. Is a T15 bit, and I have mine on this ratchet wrench, as you can see, 1/4 inch drive. If you don't have a Torx socket and you just have the long handled tool, you'll probably have to take your rear tires off. The front tires, you can just turn them. So here we go. So as you can see, these are the mud flaps we're going to be putting on the truck. Fronts are up here, and you have the little bit wider back ones. These are not the GM mud flaps. As you can see in these pictures, the GM ones kind of hug the paint, and I personally don't like that because I think that on the bumps it's going to rub the paint a little bit, kind of chafe the paint, and it's also going to hold rocks and other debris between the mud flap and your paint and cause some issues. So I personally like these ones a little bit better. We got to drill the holes to mount them, but we'll take care of that real quick and I'll show you what we're doing. The first step to mounting these mud flaps is to decide how you want to mount them. I will be using these two Torx screws that hold on this plastic guard for your paint. Don't try and take that guard off. It's got some plastic clips on it that are a real pain and real easy to break. If you don't believe me, ask me how I know. So we'll get these screws taken off and I'll show you what we're going to do after that. Now that you have those screws out, it's time to decide where exactly you want to put your mud flap. I've already done it on the other side, so I already know exactly where I want this to go. But depending on your tires, your lift kit, and your future plans for the truck, you might want to do this differently. But like I said, I already have this figured out from doing the other side. And I made myself a template. Alright guys, so this is the passenger side rear mud flap. You can see I already have the two holes drilled and I got the two screws in there currently. And this is the template that I made. As you can see, it's already got the two holes in it. They line up perfectly with the screws there. And then I cut it to match the mud flap. So as you can see, it matches the front of the mud flap on the passenger side. But to transfer those holes over to the driver's side, you're going to come to the front of the mud flap since it's just reversed. Line up everything. It's a little hard to do looking through the camera. Line up everything and then your holes are in the exact right spots. So there's your template. Take your time, measure it out right on the first mud flap, and then it'll be right and easy to copy on the second one. So I'll drill the holes and we'll come back. So now, if I made my pattern correct, this should bolt in without any issues. That's the truth. there's that. Once you have the backs done, it's time to do the same thing on the fronts. On the fronts, I'm using 3 bolts or screws. This one and this one for the plastic cover, and then this first one here on the fender blanket. And yes, I will be cleaning these out in the spring, but it's winter right now, so there's really no point. I would recommend starting with the furthest in hole first, because that's the one that you can't see once the mud flap's on. And then once you do that one, just work your way back up, get them all started by hand. Once they're all started, then you can zap them down. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. The truck's got mud flaps on it now. I hope you found this informational and helpful for doing mud flaps on your car or truck. The idea is the same for everything. Mud is a little hard to come by right now. It's the middle of February here in upstate New York. But I guess it's time to go test out the mud flaps. The only thing we have to do. So as you can see, these are the fog lights. These are the fog lights.